Welcome back to Closer Mentality. I'm your host, Julia Mellett. Before we begin episode 136, I want you to take a moment. Are you aware of your breath? Inhales, exhales? Do you remember the last time you took a deep breath? The kind that expands your chest and centers you. Was it right now? If not, take the next 16 seconds and box breathe. 4 seconds of inhalation. Hold for 4 seconds. 4 seconds of exhalation. Hold for another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Focus on the way your lungs expand and your mind goes to your breath. Now that you're settled into your body, I want to introduce you to today's guest, Dr. Justin Ternes, who deals with grounding breathwork every day. Ternes' background is in physical therapy. He found that his favorite environments became hands-on improvements with clients, a select group of people who could see and achieve goals for their bodies. Their minds became a facet that Ternes took a particular liking to.
Physical therapy comes in a lot of different shapes and sizes. There's manual hands-on techniques, there's exercise-based physical therapy. But then once you get into the profession, what I found is that there's another category, which is the psycho-emotional components of pain, the stress component. And that's fairly easy to see whenever someone's stressed and you communicate and talk to someone, you can see that they're holding a lot more than just their injury. So as I started working with patients, it's pretty apparent most people are stressed, and it's hard to work with a patient when there's stress in between themselves and their results. So at the time I was practicing breathwork myself, and from there I realized, oh, this is good for my own health and well-being, stress regulation. So let me just shift that into working with patients. Quickly saw that it helped. Just even a couple breaths is relaxing and this helps you get into the present moment. But I took it up a notch and did some more deeper, intensive breathwork practices to gain a little bit more from the breathing practice. And so it was very merged. And now I currently practice both together, but a lot of my clients are breath focused. So not from the physical therapy space, it's really in the breathwork coaching and mental performance coaching space where I do most of my work today.
Ternes' passion became that in-between space, the intangible mental improvements that clients could make to push their rehab and challenge their bodies.
As someone who didn't really have any mental health issues or diagnoses, I struggled with my mental health. And I knew that was true for everyone. And so I remember seeing statistics and research articles, 3 out of 5 adults have anxiety. And then in my mind, I'm like, everyone has anxiety, everyone has stress, everyone has struggles in their thinking, and life throws all kinds of different things at you. So fairly early, even in high school and college, I was pretty awake to the fact that mental health isn't unique to significant issues. And so that opened my eyes, and it did seem like there's a gap, because if you're working in the mental health space, and I don't specifically work in the mental health space, I'm not a mental health practitioner. I like to look at the mental performance. How can we amplify the thinking mind? How can we amplify the feeling, the mind-body energy connection, which is where breath really comes in beautifully. So whenever I'm working in the breathwork space, I'm not diagnosing or treating mental health issues. I'm inspiring, I'm helping people breathe into goals, aspirations, feel more confident. It's hard to take a full breath without lifting your chest, without grounding down, without embodying that breath. And when you do so, you naturally open the mind into enhanced receptivity to things. And so, there's a gray area in the mental health world, and I try to stay in my lane, but also expand my lane and help people understand that they're not alone when they're feeling bad.
That intersection of the mind and body, as it relates to physical therapy, became what Ternes spent his private practice investigating. What part of the physical had the most impact on the mental? The answer? The one unconscious aspect of our days. The Hindu, Tao, and Buddhists have been looking to breathwork for centuries as a calming force, a way to ground down into the calm within and build a solid foundation to stabilize the mind. Western religion doesn't put as much emphasis on awareness of breath, but elite performers across the globe know all too well the impact of a deep breath. Ternes calls that the energetic body of breath. He says that athletes and high performers more often are well attuned to their energetic breath. They use breath as a focus point to meld their physical and mental performance, a pillar of the mindfulness work that Ternes advocates.
Breath is the bridge between the mind and the body. So whenever you breathe, you're bringing in the mind psyche into the body. Whenever you breathe out, you're moving energy from the physical body out into the ether, right? But that's where the psyche, the mind occupies. And so breath is quite literally the bridge. Now, when I think about mindset and the body is just as involved as the brain and the mental. And there is a separation. Mind and body are different, but there is actually no separation. It's an illusion. So when you think about the mind, not just as the brain, but as the nervous system sits in the body. The nervous system sits in the breath. The mental follows your heart rate. Your heart is really guided by your environment or your situation or what you're doing. So if you're running and exercising, that's a practice of mindfulness and embodiment. So a lot of my teaching is trying to help people realize that there is no separation. Mind and body are one. Yet, whenever it comes to application of these practices, there's a difference. There's a huge gap. Like they are quite separate. So how do you bridge it? Practicing breath work is a great technique to bring you into the body, bring you into the mind, bring you into the mental. And for me, I bridged the gap 100%. I use breath as that bridge.
Ternes also noted that interoception, the ability to perceive and understand body signals and physical shifts, comes naturally to most athletes. Years of pushing the physical limit fine-tunes that signal. Like a car radio tuner shifts the static away and heightens the music. So too can individuals create that enhanced state within themselves.
In the breath world, in the mind-body psychophysiology world, interoception is becoming more and more popular because there's more research on interoception. Interoception is the ability to feel within the body. So feeling your heartbeat, feeling the breath enter and exit the lungs. Proprioception is your ability to feel your body, hand, in space. Like I'm not looking at my hand, but I know what the joints are doing because there are proprioceptors in there. Chemoreception is if you hold your breath, and all of a sudden you have an internal urge to breathe. Those are chemoreceptors activating by rises in carbon dioxide that signal the brain a feeling, an inner feeling of, oh, stress, I need to breathe. Chemoreception, mechanoreception is pressure. So there's all these real receptors that we have in our body, but the process of feeling into those receptors is interoception. It's kind of like the umbrella term. And so all of that to say is the body is an antenna. And if you can feel your body, you can feel the things around you. And so if you look at a peak athlete or performer on a basketball court, they are very in their body. They're very present. They can feel how they're moving. They can feel how they're pushing off the ground. But through that heightened awareness of physical body self, they also feel others. They can see the floor. They can see the court. They can dictate how they're moving amongst other people. So I would highly recommend breathing practices as a form of interoception training. You're training not your brain, but you're training your brain's connection to the body. because once you get really good at connecting to the physical body, you can translate into sport. And then once you have a ability to be like, okay, I can feel my body, you'll also gain the ability to say, oh, I'm disconnected from my body. I'm in my head. I don't even know where my feet are, or my toes. How can you plant and move if you're not even feeling your feet? So a simple practice is breath to get your mind into the body, but then also take it one step deeper. Feel the feet, get into the tactile sensation of the physical, like waking up. Like, okay, like I think that the slapping and the shaking kind of thing that most would see as very woo-woo out there. I always thought so, but now I see that it works. So it's woo-woo. It's still woo-woo in my mind, but it works. It's something that is effective at getting in. And, you don't see athletes like literally doing this, but you see athletes rolling the shoulders, shaking their head, like pounding their chest, like hyping themselves up. They're not just hyping themselves up mentally, they're bringing that into their physical.
Ternes said that athletes in particular are one of the best groups to study proprioception and interoception on, as they're uniquely qualified to understand what heightens that awareness in themselves. Ternes gives a quick nod to specific groupings of athletes and how sport-dependent breathwork styles are. Quick-twitch athletes tend to find energetic breathing more grounding, while slow-twitch athletes naturally utilize deeper, more methodical practices.
So there's a few layers of toolboxes. There's a toolbox that most athletes know. It's the box breathing. In, hold, exhale, hold. Very common. Not commonly used because sometimes it doesn't work. For a lot of people, they're like, box breathing doesn't work. So you throw out the baby with the bathwater. But there's so much more than just one technique. Box breathing, 4, 7, 8 breath is normal, which is 4 second inhale, 7 second hold. 8 second exhale is a longer extended exhale. That's more down regulating, relaxing. So there are these little techniques that are useful. Those are more down regulating, so slower control. Methods are many, principles are few. So there's a lot of methods out there, but what principles drive the behavior of the breath technique? So once you understand the principles, and that's really what I teach, is principle science-based breathing. I'm working with an individual out of Australia right now. He's from the UK but lives in Australia. His name is Martin McPhillamy. He has what's called the School of Breath Science. And so I'm working with him right now, deepening the understanding of the breath science. And he's in the same philosophy. It's not about the techniques, it's about the principles. So you can I think there's a lot of value to box breathing and techniques, and that's the place to start. But if those aren't working for you, or they work and then you want more, there's a whole another toolbox that's exponentially bigger, where what I practice now is called situational breathing or allostatic breath, where I can breathe in the moment and match my breath to the moment to best serve me in the moment. And so that's a combination of Wim Hof style or box breathing or something. It's more intuitive. So I'm thinking about my breath all the time versus doing a technique to get a feeling or a sensation and then being done with technique and then disconnecting. But it takes practice. It takes definitely practice to increase that awareness, because the more you do it, the more your brain understands it, the more neuroplasticity takes place, the more you get familiar with the process of meditation. So if you haven't practiced meditation and you try to sit and just be still, good luck. That's why it takes time to be consistent. But you have to have that goal, purpose that sticks with you throughout the process, or else you're going to toss away the practice and be like, oh, breathwork does not work for me. It'll work for everyone.
Ternes referenced allostatic breathing. Allostasis is the physiological mechanism an organism uses to regulate its energy and adjust to meet the demands of a situation or task. Superimpose that on an elite athlete, and it's a skill that most don't even realize they're doing. How does a sprinter adjust breathing as the starting gun fires? How does a midfielder go from sprinting down the field to patrolling at a walking speed? Allostasis, first proposed in 1988, interprets peaks and valleys of effort that draw the body and mind away from homeostasis, a term coined only 62 years prior. Allostasis is understood as the stress response, as well as an immune and nervous system regulator. Think of allostasis as the ability to reach multiple degrees of homeostasis depending on stress and activity level. Allostatic load accounts for the change in breath frequency and intensity dependent on situational stress.
So dynamic allostasis, I would assume many haven't heard of allostasis. Allostasis is similar to homeostasis. So homeostasis is balance within the body. We know about homeostasis. We learned that in elementary school. When your body's at ease and tranquility, you're in homeostasis. Allostasis is your body's ability to find tranquility with the world around you, to stabilize during stressful moments. So whenever stress comes at you and your body feels the stress and then regulates, that's allostasis. So homeostasis, balance within the body. Allostasis, balance between body and the environment and nature and things around you. And so allostasis is happening all the time, whether we're paying attention to it or not. Whenever you have excess stress, it's happening all the time. Maybe that's environmental. You're not drinking enough water and your body's kind of stressed because you're not drinking enough water, or you're not hydrated. Your body's having to work to maintain that equilibrium harder because you don't have enough water or good nutrition. When you go from your body being able to handle that, which is allostasis, to having trouble working hard to create that, it's called allostatic load. So your body's working a little bit too hard to regulate, to bring a homeostasis into play. This is science class 101. I'll make it quick. Then there's something called overload. So chronic stress, chronic disease, whenever you aren't sleeping, insomnia. So not only are you a little bit stressed and your body's working hard, you're excessively stressed. So it's called overload. And that's happening no matter where you are on the spectrum of perfectly at ease in life to struggling deeply. Your body's navigating stress. Now, what I think is what I've come to develop is another phase of allostasis, but it's on the other end where you're at norm, but then you're breathing deeply and you're working out effectively, and you're maybe jumping in an ice bath or something to purposefully stimulate and strengthen your body to better adapt to stress around you. So I call that dynamic allostatic load or dynamic allostasis. And that's a way that, for me, I like to use breath. So I'm not just breathing for box breathing gentleness. I'm breathing for nervous system stimulation. I want to welcome stress into my body because purposeful stress creates growth. So I love that combination. And we see it a lot in like ecological dynamics in athletes and athletics. It's, hey, I'm going to put you in a situation that you kind of have to figure out how to get through. So put you in an environment, how to figure out and get through it. If you're allostatically loaded or overloaded, it's going to be hard to accomplish that task. So focus on your breath, focus on your allostasis to shift into dynamic performance in your sport. Connecting to my breath had a plethora of positive benefits. Less stressed, more present. Through breathing slower and deeper, I found that my performance elevated. I play a variety of sports. I'm an athlete. I love basketball. I can tell on the court whenever I'm mouth breathing or hyperventilating, breathing too fast. It's just, we have reminders all the time, but are you plugged into the reminders to breathe? A big sigh. Naturally, humans take a big sigh maybe once an hour. But if you're highly stressed or you're stuck at a job or you're here and you're like working too much, you probably sigh once every 5-10 minutes, a lot more frequent. So there's a thing where you can monitor the frequency of the breath through noticing how frequently you take a big sigh. Often I'll work with individuals and ask, how often do you sigh? And they'll be like, how'd you know I sigh a lot? I'm like, I don't, I'm just asking. But they'll say, yeah, I sigh a ton. Or my partner tells me that I'm always taking a deep breath, or my teammates saying, you're always catching your breath and breathing deep. So either we're aware of those sighs or we're not aware and others are. Regardless, the sigh is a signal from the body, please breathe. Because I'm going to breathe for you. That's your body breathing for you. So if you're sighing frequently, once every 5 minutes, once every 10 minutes, I would say is considered frequently. If you're sighing frequently, your body's basically every 5 to 10 minutes saying, hey, wake up, alert. Are you listening to me? You need to breathe. Now, for me, my nervous system is regulated. I do a lot of breath work. I do other practices. I'm also human, so I get stressed. But because I've made that connection association, anytime I catch myself taking a deep breath, I'm like, okay, shift, nose breathing, maybe change my posture, lower, deeper. So I go into principles. In that moment, I'm like, okay, thank you, brain, body, for telling me I need to breathe. I'll shift. Often, another signal to remind me to breathe is my mouth gets dry. I'm like, oh, I've been breathing through my mouth. I haven't really noticed, but I'm like busy. And okay, now I need to zip it, prioritize breathing through my nose, focus on breathing through my nose, because nose breathing is superior physiologically, neurophysiologically, to mouth breathing. So how do I remember how to breathe? I listen to my body, and I listen to my body through practice that helps increase interoception. So I have a little bit more of a awareness to those signals that we get all the time. And that's, I think, the goal. That's the goal that I want people to get to on their own, but it takes practice.
Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless of if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human in this world going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a positive way. That's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. This is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options just in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. If this sounds like something that could help you, there's a link in the show notes to get you started on your therapy journey. It's betterhelp.com/closer mentality. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. Because finding a therapist is a little like dating. If you don't really fit with the therapist matched with you, it's easy and free to switch therapists without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/closer mentality. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/closer mentality. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this channel. Did you know that you can purchase audiobooks directly from your favorite local bookstore? With Libro FM, you can pick from more than 325,000 audiobooks, including bestsellers and recommendations from real booksellers. You'll get the same audiobooks at the same price as the largest audiobook company out there, you know the name. But you'll be part of a different story, one that supports your local community. If you're new to audiobooks, they're the perfect way to squeeze more reading into your busy life. Listen with the free Libro FM app while you do chores, walk the dog, or relax at home. If you already love audiobooks and don't know what to listen to next, check out recommendations from the people who know best, booksellers. Closer Mentality has partnered with Libro FM on a special offer. Through the link in the show notes, you can get 2 audiobooks on Libro FM for the price of 1. Offer only valid for new members in Canada and the US. Thanks to Libro FM for sponsoring this podcast. When we speak of acute stress and allostatic load, Ternes says that his clientele frequently cite in-game panic attacks as stimulants. His response? Not what you'd think.
Anxiety and panic attacks are one of the biggest reasons that people reach out in the sports space and beyond. But that's one of the number one questions I get. Hey, how can I calm my nerves before a game? How can I uh, shift my focus whenever I'm losing my focus in a game? The answer that people want is not the answer that I give, because that's not the true answer. It comes in the time before. It comes the day before. It comes 2-3 days before. It's the practice that you put in consistently on your mental performance that will lead to a decrease in frequency of those panic type situations. So you're training your mind to not elevate into the panic, because once you get into the panic, it's really hard to come back down. Like, no breath technique is going to be able to fix that. So that's one, we need to recognize there is no magic technique that will help you in the moment get out of fight or flight crazy sensations. At that moment, your nervous system and your respiratory system is kind of like inflamed on fire. Your inflammatory system is like going. It takes time for that to build, approximately 4 hours to be exact. There's some research that shows when a panic attack happens, it actually starts 4 hours before. It's like a volcano. So there's some rumblings, some rumblings, some rumblings. If you don't have a connection to your body interoception, you're not going to notice the rumblings. Or maybe you feel them, but you don't put any intuition into those. So then you ignore it. You don't put any breath, and then you start to feel panic. You're like, oh crap, let me do my breath work. Shoot, the breath work's not working. It's probably not going to work because you should have been doing it prior. Now you can regulate. You can find ways to slow it down and calm. But if you don't work on it beforehand, you're working from behind. So there's a way. That's where the boring practice of breathing every day and finding a component of meditation as one of your like daily routines, maybe multiple times a day, is so important. And what we see in athletes is the basics are as important as the advanced practices. Top athletes, they're going through the warm-ups and they're just doing the most boring warm-up every day. But that's where it starts. And if you skip that, you're going to miss out on a really structural component of performance.
Ternes acknowledges that physical performance and mental performance both play a role in channeling breathwork, but that the same emphasis should be made on nutrition. For athletes and performers who integrate external stimuli like caffeine and sugar into their pregame routines, Ternes says whether they want to admit it or not, they're adding additional stress to their processing systems.
What happens with the energy and the caffeine, your body has to process it. The act of processing that extra energy in the body requires energy from the body. So if you bring a lot of energy into the body has to navigate and balance the energy. That's allostatic load. Now you're creating more load for your body to navigate, which gives you a smaller window for performance. So it can deter. But in the example where you, like an athlete that I was watching recently, he mentioned pregame warm-up, Skittles and Nerds. That's a bunch of sugar, right? But he plays really good. It's like Marshawn Lynch. He loved Skittles during the game. It's a boost of energy, right? So sugar can be seen kind of like caffeine. It gives you a lot. But then you have a crash and then you have a dip. So how do you navigate those things? So you can control your breath to help influence your physiology. But then whenever your nutrition is fueling your physiology, sometimes you can't breathe your way back into balance. So I can breathe myself into peace, presence, performance, meditation, but I didn't fuel myself properly. I'm fighting an uphill battle. I'm having to use my breath not to optimize performance. I'm having to use my breath to regulate that allostatic load to get to the next step of performance. So I wish I could just breathe myself into peace and presence. It doesn't always work, right? So you have to take care of all of the components, but use your breath mindfully in each of those situations.
Ternes says that energetic breathing, though, is not always a negative reaction. In fact, there are years of research that would suggest that energetic breathing is just as important for training your nervous system as more conscious, controlled meditative breath. The Wim Hof Method sits at the intersection of that training. Conscious breathing pairs with the external stimuli of cold therapy to produce a grueling introspective technique which forces one to feel present in their body. Wim Hof, a Dutch extreme athlete, introduced the world to this method in the early 2000s, and scientists immediately backed his claims.
So my breath journey began listening to a Wim Hof podcast in 2016, so that's 10 years ago now. And I heard Wim Hof. And for those who don't know Wim Hof, one, look him up, WIMHOF. But two, a quick synopsis is he is from the Netherlands. He's this old bearded man. They call him the Iceman. He's the dude who just jumps into ice baths, just hiked Everest in his shorts and no shirt kind of thing. And the reason why everyone is jumping in ice baths, or you know an aunt, uncle, cousin, friend that is obsessed with ice, it's from Wim Hof. So he's the father of ice bath. But with his ice bath fascination came a bright breathing technique that I mentioned earlier. It's 30 breaths, strong, deep, fast with an exhale hold. You can find a ton of audio. There's the Wim Hof app, so you can download the app and follow his technique. I love his technique. Do I practice his technique every day? No. Do I practice it a couple times a week? Yes. Do I practice my own version of it that is not the same as what he teaches? Yes, because his teaching doesn't really, I'm like, I can tweak it to make it work better for me. So my Wim Hof practice is different than what you'd find on the app, but that comes from personal practice, etc. So, but when I heard Wim Hof speak for the first time, he was excited. He was high on life. He was happy. He was exuberant, and he was not fake. He wasn't fake. Like, you know how you hear people say, like, oh, everything's great, I love life. And you can tell, like, again, that incongruency of people. You're like, are you sure? Hey, everything's great, 2 thumbs up. But then you're like, are you? I don't know. He seemed like he felt so authentically excited. And he's like, it's the breath. The breath gives you life. The breath is oxygen. It is life. It is where you create energy and connection to source. And just hearing that really opened my eyes to the fact that breath and spirit are synonymous. The ancient Greeks called breath spiritus. They called spirit spiritus. It was one and the same. It was actually pneuma, and pneuma is Greek. And then Latin was spiritus, spiritus. So ancient civilizations saw breath was life. And we've lost that. But Wim Hof brought that back for me. And you can see it and feel it. And so I got into the Wim Hof Method, started practicing it every day. It was invigorating and gave me that sense of life. I felt like I had a superpower. I'd tell my friends about it and they'd be like, you're crazy. So there weren't very many other crazy people back in 2016. So I was just like, why aren't more people breathing? Like, this is amazing. And I'd try to tell people, breathe. And they'd be like, you're going crazy. So, but it put me on the right path of understanding that what I actually think happened is the better I breathe, the more conscious of my breathing, I literally changed my brain. I changed my brain from thinking to breathing, to feeling, to being more present, to being less stressed. So I went through a personal neurophysiological transformation, quite literally. I would guarantee my brain before breath to my brain after breath, you put them, it'd be completely different. Electrons firing, neurons firing, etc. So he has literally changed my life. He's changed a lot of lives. And I was fortunate to go to Iceland and do a retreat where I jumped into cold water out in nature and did tons of breath work. And it was just best experience ever. Cold and breath go hand in hand, and yet you can do them separate, right? So I don't always practice breath work before I get into cold water. I did a cold plunge this morning, and I didn't do any breathing. I just saw it. I was like, okay, got to get in. I'm not going to waste time breathing. I'm just going to do it. So I got in and just regulated and breathed a little bit while I was in there, but just normal. Some days, okay, I need actual breath. I need to focus. I need to ground. I need to move energy purposefully to get my mind right, to get the most out of my cold exposure experience. What you don't want to do is do deep breathing while in the water. It's dangerous. Quite literally, people have had bad experiences, costly experiences from doing breath work, because sometimes breath work can elicit fainting. And if you faint in water, you drown. And it is quite serious. And people have lost their lives over the last many years since Wim Hof's become popular, because they get high on their own supply. They feel great. And they're out in nature by themselves. Everything is so peaceful, but then they like hold their breath maybe too long and pass out and they drown. So people have lost their lives. Be mindful when you're breathing, but that's on the extreme end of like deep, pushing yourself to the limit. Just be around the right people and practice with a coach. But besides that, like if you take the extreme down a notch, peak performance. That's where you get the benefits of cold exposure, norepinephrine, adrenaline rises. There's a really popular influencer who like runs with his shirt off. He puts his face in the bowl of ice water to get what's called the mammalian dive reflex. It just turns on all of the energy of your body. He comes out and he just sprints, and he's jacked. So there's this pre-workout, and I do practice breath work an ice bath prior to working out. It's my pre-workout. I'd use that instead of an energy drink because it's more natural. Gets your body prepped for movement, because you literally are putting yourself into a fight or flight state. So I could talk a ton about ice, but I'll just tee it up there.
Are you an athlete rehabbing from an injury? Are you a coach or athletic trainer seeking additional support for your injured athlete toolkits? KT Tape has exactly what you need. KT Tape is a rehabilitation tape that helps stabilize and compress sensitive areas of the body during exercise. Apply KT Tape to an area either in pain or in recovery and feel the difference. KT Tape is comfortable, stable, and long-wearing. There's tape for all modes of action, from gentle, which is safe for easy activity and everyday use, to pro extreme, for athletes in moderate to high impact exercise. KT Tape makes water-resistant tape as well for a more adaptable rehabilitation implementation. KT Tape caters to lifelong athletes and focuses on reducing muscle soreness for all users when worn during exercise and up to 48 hours post. Are you an athlete in need of prescription sports goggles or sunglasses? Today's final sponsor may have just the solution for you. A Sight for Sport Eyes was created when founder Shannon Knight saw a niche that was perpetually going unfulfilled. A Sight for Sport Eyes grew out of a need for education surrounding the impact of sport-related eye injuries and their lasting repercussions. A Sight for Sport Eyes runs like a regular optical practice, not an e-commerce store. Their goal is to give you the same high-quality service and name-brand lenses made by the best optical laboratories in the country, geared specifically for athletes and athletic use cases. If you need new lenses or frames, A Sight for Sport Eyes is the perfect place to get them. The links to BetterHelp.com, Libro FM, KT Tape, and A Sight for Sport Eyes are all in the show notes. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I have a mission to inspire everyone to breathe. Breath is free. It's accessible. There are so many programs and things that will cost crazy amounts of money. But if I can just help people realize they need to breathe better and they can do that, that's amazing. But like I said, there are people who want more. They have a toolbox and they're like, hey, what's underneath? Like, what's in there? Like, there's a bottomless pit of information that we can explore. And that's where I think breathwork and mental performance blend together beautifully, because breathwork by itself, it's got good capacity for learning. But then breathwork with mental performance. How does your breath tie into your psyche and thinking and self-talk? And how can you use breath to improve that or improve neuroplasticity? That's where I really like to work with individuals, teams. So breath, hey, breathe, reminder, here's how you breathe better, this and that. But how do you blend breath into your life, your performance, what you're trying to do, your specific goal? You're struggling in a certain area. How can we breathe to navigate that psyche component and improve mental performance? That's what I do at Allostasis Performance. So that's my business, Allostasis Performance. I also have another business, which is True Self Health. True Self Health is more physical therapy, general population type stuff. Allostasis Performance is made more for athletes, for coaches, for teams, for organizations, really trying to up their whole level. So I've recently developed Allostasis Performance to really sharpen that niche. And grateful to share this with you and be on your show, and nice to meet you. And this was great.
If you want additional information on Justin's businesses, the links to both of his private practices are in the show notes. I've also linked the TED Talk he did if you're wanting a deeper dive into breathwork and cold therapy. You can watch Justin and I's full interview at the Closer Mentality Uncensored YouTube channel. The link to that is also in the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning into this breathwork episode of Closer Mentality. You can exhale now. As always, I'm your host, Julia Mellett. See you next week.